fundamental question that is faced by sports is, do they want, will the industry ever allow somebody to tell the truth on the air? But I don't think that today that will ever happen again. I don't think the industry will allow it.
My name is Dino Costa. This is my show. A radical departure from the status quo. Across America and around the world. Sirius Channel 92, XM Channel 208. Sports Talk in America in the morning has changed forever. This is going to be big. What do people want from me? Tell us what you feel. Why you feel it. What do you think? If I haven't talked about the issue, it hasn't been settled yet. Some agree with me, some disagree, but they all listen. I'll set the tone. I'll set the pace. Dino Costa equals sports radio in America. Period.
This is Dino in the morning on Sirius XM Sports Zone, Sirius 92 XM 208.
Well, it's very good of Thayer Evans to mention in his Sports Illustrated, the first of a 5-part series, no less. It's good to know that Thayer Evans, who's doing this hideous report on SI.com, a 5-part series, the first of which appeared yesterday, it's good that he notes that not all Oklahoma State players were rewarded. I mean, he does write that the former Cowboys who spoke to SI estimated that between 15 and 20 players received money under the table in any given year, meaning that many contributors, including starters, never saw a dime. Why were some paid and not others? Often, he writes, it was a willingness to request money. Players who sought financial assistance were often directed by teammates or sometimes a member of the coaching staff to a generous benefactor. In some instances, they were paid right there on the spot. I tell you, the media died its death in America a long time ago. Anybody with any gray matter between their ears knows this. And I'm sorry to report, but I think I've been consistent in the way I've approached this over the last 5 years here at Sirius XM Radio, that the sports media as well in this country has gone the same route as the political and societal media. Sports media in America is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, as I join you on this midweek Wednesday show, I am here to tell you a couple of things, one of which is this is just the latest in another long line of sports media witch hunt. Sports Illustrated, have they read through this? Have they read this atrocious, you want to call it an expose, on the Oklahoma State football program by a writer whose credibility leaves a lot to be desired? But the story in and of itself leaves so much to be desired. My goodness, this is a witch hunt, just another in a long line. I mean, he's got people that he uses in this story. The author of this thing, Thayer Evans. By the way, this is a collaborative effort, I believe, between two guys who put this piece together, George Dorman and Thayer Evans. Now, Kaplan, have you reached out to one of these two people who put this bullshit of a horrendous piece together? Have you reached out to these people?
Absolutely. I've reached out to Thayer Evans and Sports Illustrated.
Have we heard back from them?
Not yet.
If Sports Illustrated has any brains, they will put the kibosh on this report before they do anything else during this business day. They will take this story down if they've got any brains, because this is one of the most atrocious pieces of, you want to call it sports journalism, go right ahead. I mean, this doesn't belong on SI. SI standards have got to be much higher than this, I would think. I mean, this belongs in the National Enquirer. This doesn't meet the standards of Sports Illustrated. Calvin Mickens was elated. The freshman cornerback from Beaumont, Texas, had just appeared in his first college game. Oklahoma State's 2005 season-opening 15-10 home victory over Montana State. And he had performed well, forcing a fumble, breaking up a pass, making 2 tackles. In the locker room, as Mickens and his teammates shed their gear, a man he had never seen before approached and handed him cash. I was like, wow, This is the life, Mickens says. I'm 18 playing football and I just got $200. Now, don't mistake. I think a distinction needs to be made, so allow me to make it full disclosure. If Calvin Mickens or anyone else on the Oklahoma State football program was forwarded money, was given things, whatever, all kinds of perks, good for them, I say. Good for them. I don't see anything wrong with it. If all this stuff happened in the first part of this special report on Oklahoma State football, part one, the money. If this happened, good for them. I don't care. It doesn't take anything away from college football. It doesn't make the play on the field any less special. It doesn't affect our enjoyment of college football even 1 degree less if payers are getting trinkets, monies, special perks, cars, apartments, jobs, whatever, cash rewards. Again, good for them. But none of this stuff ever happened. Well, I take that back. I take that back. Maybe it did. In some instances. Hey, let me tell you something. If this could happen at Oklahoma State, this is Oklahoma State. What's going on right now in Tuscaloosa? If this could happen at Oklahoma State, what's going on right now in Columbus, Ohio? If this can happen at Oklahoma State, what's going on in Gainesville, Tallahassee, Austin? Oh, children, we must wake up to the new reality. I know it pains some of you. I know you still continue to live in this Pollyannish world of college athletics. Rah, rah, sis, sis, boom, boom. Let's root for the home team. The old college try. It's all amateur after all. It's noble. It's college sports. Some players, according to this report, receive $2,000 annually. Others around 10 grand. Multiple players told Sports Illustrated. And how about this? A few stars allegedly received $25,000 or more. Some very interesting pieces. Now, cornerback Darren Williams, who's dead, is mentioned in this piece. There's a lot of players that are mentioned in this piece. Brad Gertman is mentioned in this piece. The piece says that Brad Gertman played in Stillwater from 2003 to 2004. Here's his quote. Quote, I was like, holy shit. I was getting paid on the low end, Gertman says. Some of these guys got monster payments. According to Thayer, what's his name, Kaplan? Evans? Thayer Evans?
Yeah.
The amount paid for a specific play was not always the same. For Gertman, quarterback hurries were worth $50, a tackle between $75 to $100, and a sack from $200 to $250. Good for them if they got this money. Good for them. Listen, if I had the money to pay my Wyoming Cowboys, I'd pay them, I'd give them money, I'd buy them airline tickets, I'd do what I could to make those kids happy. I have no problem with these kids cashing in. At all. But the problem with this report is that he talks to so many players, or he uses so many players who allegedly talked with him as he put this report together. The only problem is that it is being refuted in Stillwater right now. If you go to the Stillwater, Oklahoma newspaper, the news press, you will see that many of the players that were mentioned in the story and some who were not mentioned in the story are all vehemently refuting this report. And adding to the lack of credibility is that the author of this piece, or the authors of this piece, utilize so many names that are either dead currently right now, or they're players who had problems at Oklahoma State, were kicked off the team, but this is not mentioned in the report by Thayer Evans and and George Dorman, who put this hideous piece together. I tell you, now the NCAA. Let's sort this all out here. Let's sort this all out. A Sports Illustrated writer, right? A Sports Illustrated writer can get the lowdown on all of this. Consider that. But apparently the NCAA is doing such a great job as the college football watchdog, the overlord, that all these years, now the NCAA says, well, we're going to look into this. It's very serious. We take these allegations very serious. OSU officials have said the same thing. We take these allegations very serious, although we deny everything in the report. But here's a Sports Illustrated writer who can get the lowdown on all this stuff over a multi-year investigation. But apparently the NCAA is doing such a great job in their role, as I said before, as the college football watchdog, that all these years, they'd had not a clue about Oklahoma State. But a couple of Sports Illustrated writers, they got the lowdown on this. They got the jump on this. Not the NCAA. A couple of flunkies who write for Sports Illustrated got the jump on this. Mark Emmert, get the hell out of the way. Clean out your office. This guy Thayer Evans is now the new president of the NCAA. Are you kidding me? Yeah, so Darren Williams is mentioned, but he was shot to death, of course, in 2007 on New Year's Eve. If you remember, he was a member of my Denver Broncos at that point in time. Listen, I have no ties to Oklahoma State. I have no skin in this game. I have no dog in this fight. But when I see an injustice and I see shoddy reporting and I see a witch hunt and I see grandstanding, it bothers me. It should bother you as well. Started all when Les Miles was the head coach, according to the two stooges who wrote this piece. Miles took a more hospital approach, it says here, when he arrived in 2001 from the Dallas Cowboys. According to several players, boosters were permitted in the locker room. That's another thing about this report I don't understand. I got done with this. I was bored out of my mind, and I said, well, what's the big story here? What's the news? What's the relevancy? It's not even mildly surprising, much less shocking if this stuff is going on in college sports. Anybody with a brain knows this has been going on for years, for decades. Big expose. Oklahoma State might have been doing things that they shouldn't have been doing for their college football players. Really? Wow. Hey, that's a new one. That's never been done before. Hey,